guys, in the video we're providing you some sample pictures and videos taken with the all-new Nexus 5X smartphone. So all audio and videos being recorded with the Nexus 5X. The audio that you're hearing right now is not recorded outside during this video segment that's being recorded, what you guys are seeing, because it's fall and because of that there's a lot of wind. So I decided to record the audio still on the Nexus 5X but while inside, so I'm just overdubbing it with the same camera. So that keeps it completely unbiased. So this is just a zoom test on the McDonald's menu. This is maximum zoom currently, and this is about half zoom. And you'll notice that regardless of whether I'm zooming in or not, the footage is quite shaky. And with my experience of recording videos, even with cell phones, I'm actually a little bit disappointed at how shaky the footage is. There's a very, very poor amount of stabilization. Actually, maybe no stabilization at all. So it's quite disappointing. So despite me moving slowly left and right and some pretty steady hands, except for this particular part, when I switch over to the LCBO, then you'll notice that things kind of smoothen out a bit. But there's still a lot of jerkiness because the footage, well, there's no stabilization. So here's another zoom test, and obviously with the zoom, the stabilization is even worse. The shakiness is amplified. So, going over to pictures though, I wanted to get more color pop for you guys because it's fall, it's gray outside. And so in a grocery store with great lighting situation, we have some pretty decent color pop, not the best. Here's just a bokeh effect with something I just went up close to. And switching over to some night shots, you'll notice there's a fair amount of noise even next to the parking lot lights. And just going over to the complete opposite of this area of the street, which is very dark, you notice that the noise is amplified by a tremendous amount. So even for a smartphone, it's still very noisy in terms of low lighting footage. So switching over to this picture, it's completely pitch black, and that's done on purpose because then what I did with the next picture is have it so that it is activated with the flash. So this time I switched over to the front-facing camera. So it's a 1080p shooter. So that's why this particular segment is small, because the rest of the video is recorded in 4K to match the rear camera's top quality. But because the front-facing camera only records in 1080p, the picture's small. And I've actually still expanded it a little bit more to make it easier for you guys to see. So there might be a fair amount of quality loss, but it's a front-facing camera, so don't expect great results anyway. So I just wanted to mention one thing. The clip that you guys watched just before this one, where I was in the parking lot with McDonald's and LCBO, you can actually download that video in its original file format without any audio overdubbing. It's just taken straight from the camera, uploaded to the net, and you guys can download it and see what you think for yourselves in its original quality, because YouTube does compress footage. That's pretty much it for this front-facing segment. So front-facing cameras, not much more to discuss. One thing to note is that the phone records in a single channel audio. So where other devices will record in dual channels audio, like the Galaxy devices from Samsung, some other various devices, the Nexus device records in single channel audio, unfortunately. So it sounds okay, but you can notice that it's not the greatest quality, but again, it's single channel, so that might be disappointing for a lot of people. And lastly, in this segment, we are in the same parking lot where I took that photo earlier, and I just wanted to give you guys this example. Again, still in 4K footage, but you'll notice there's a fair amount of noise. Now, you notice that the parking lot lights, they're very bright. Even with my own eyes, they're fairly bright, but there's a lot of noise everywhere. This is kind of expected of a Nexus phone camera. There's always an issue. LG does make some pretty decent devices with cameras, like the LG G Flex 2, which I reviewed earlier this year. It was a pretty darn good camera on a smartphone, but this is pretty poor. This is probably due to the small budget you have to pay for this device. It's a pretty cheap phone. I can't really complain with the performance, with the cost ratio, but generally, just speaking overall, it's not one of the better cameras available on a smartphone. There's much better ones available out there. But again, if you want to download the original footage recorded with the first segment, you can download that in its original file format. No overdubbing, no nothing, just taken straight from the Nexus 5X and uploaded straight to the net. You can find a link to that in the video description. You can also find the review video in which I give my unbiased score of the Nexus 5X and its overall performance. Again, a link to that video is in the video description, as well as my Facebook, Google+, Twitter links. And that's pretty much it, so be sure to hit that like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.